With the end of Chapter 2 of Season 1 just round the corner, I wanted to look back at everything that has happened over the course of this season. All the way from Fortnite Nightmares, to Winterfest, to the Star Wars event, and to the Chaos Agent. We're going to be covering everything that has happened this season, strictly to do with the storyline. Guys, this is the entire storyline from Chapter 2, Season 1 so far. Guys, let's get into it. The center of our Fortnite map has changed radically. The quiet cottages that were once on this island have been completely removed and replaced with literally our worst nightmare. The return of the husks, as well as whatever these things are. Ugh. This new Fortnite Nightmares area is in the center of our Fortnite map, and no doubt is going to play a huge part in the story for this season. But what players might not have noticed, in the center of this island seems to be a large ditch, where currently there is no zombie spawners or no, well, anything. It does seem perfectly possible that this could actually be some kind of portal that is going to open up at some point during this season. Possibly a portal into the world of Fortnite Nightmares. Or maybe this portal is going to open up and release something evil through. We do know there is something evil in our Fortnite game right now. Well, not quite in our Battle Royale game mode, but in Fortnite in general. The Storm King has been entered in as an LTM for players to play, and it features this boss battle style game mode in the center of this zombie island. But is it really possible that Fortnite would release the final events for the season in the LTM right at the start? This seems a little strange and a little unlike Epic Games. So there must be something more happening here at this zombie island in the actual Battle Royale game. But what it is, we don't yet know. But it's only a matter of time until we find out. Something is in the sky in Chapter 2, and it's letting us know that it is soon to land. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Fortnite video for Chapter 2. Something pretty major is in the sky right now, and the internet is going wild with sightings of this floating object from all sorts of angles. But this isn't any old spaceship. This, of course, is the iconic Star Destroyer, which is basically confirming that some kind of collaboration with Star Wars and Fortnite is in the works and is soon to be released into our game. But what is for sure is this massive spaceship is actually slowly moving towards our land and is soon to arrive on our island. And what it's gonna do once it lands? I don't know. I don't know. Some kind of live premiere of the new Star Wars film seems to be happening here at this location. It is projected here on the massive signboard, as well as the posters that are littered around our Fortnite islands. With this event taking place on Saturday the 14th, we are less than a week away to seeing this event. In this absolutely wild event for Star Wars, we saw multiple ships from the Star Wars franchise having a crazy battle across our Chapter 2 island. We even got a little interactive event with some of the Star Wars film creators coming out on stage and talking to the players. And of course, there's even a new item. But there are a handful of things that players might not have noticed going on around the island whilst this event was going on. Multiple spaceships actually crashed down into our island. Only a handful of live streamers managed to catch it on camera when some of these ships set fire and collided with our island. These ships might actually still be in our game if players can figure out where they crash landed. A lot of players didn't see it, but it definitely happened. With some of the more recent updates in Fortnite, we have seen this leaked loading screen being released to the public online. What is crazy about this leaked image is there are so many questionable things going on that might have something to do with the storyline for Chapter 2. We are going to be breaking down the most important parts that you cannot miss. In the center of our screen, we have the Chaos Agent overseeing these rather clumsy placed televisions. Each television has something unique on it, but only a handful have some kind of storyline element that are leaving players to scratch their heads. We can start here behind the head of the Chaos Agent. What seems to be some kind of weather report of a possible hurricane is presented on the television, almost like the eye of the storm can be seen, which is suggesting to players that some kind of hurricane/weather disaster might be coming to Chapter 2 at some point. Or at least here, the Chaos Agent is overseeing this hurricane as it possibly approaches our Fortnite island. This really could be the main feature of the events for Chapter 2, but we don't quite know. We also see down here Kevin the Cube and the logo, which seems to be of the Chaos Agent, which might also be the logo for the Fortnite government for this season. Does this mean that the Chaos Agent is overseeing the interests at Kevolution? Maybe he owns Kevolution and it's part of his evil plan to take over our Fortnite island. We also see here the giant iron doors with a location called Redacted. Maybe there is something inside that the Chaos Agent is hiding from all of us. Or maybe this is the entrance into his secret base, where this television screen room is actually hidden. Seems possible and plausible, I guess. We also see him overlooking an army of sludge, which is of course the red version of Ripley. They're presented to us on the television looking a bit like an army, ready to carry out some kind of act in the name of the Chaos Agent. Maybe he's trying to make an army to take over our server, or maybe they're here just to defend our server. I don't know. You let me know what you guys think they're actually doing here. I'm a little unnerved, I'll be honest. Now, of course, we get to the final two, which I think actually have some pretty major consequences for what is coming in this chapter. We see at the top left-hand side of our screen some character that we've clearly never seen before. He seems to be looking down, but has these giant glowing tubes coming out from the character's head. It almost looks like he is an experiment, tucked away in some lab, having tests done on him, or something like that. This possibly could be the final challenge skin for this season, and usually those skins have something pretty major to do with the storyline. Somehow I get a feeling that the Chaos Agent and this guy right here are not friends. They don't get along, and the Chaos Agent is trying to keep an eye on him. And of course we have this television, one that is very difficult to explain. Some kind of character also looking like in a test facility with strange DNA icons and other scientific images placed around the edges. I think somebody's being experimented on. Somebody is being tested, or the power of this individual is being harnessed. That's what I get from this image. This leaked loading screen does not make a lot of sense so far, but I think each one of these televisions we're going to be able to look back at the end of the season and say, wow, how did we not see that coming? The season to be jolly is finally here in Fortnite with a huge festive update called Winterfest. But the spirit of the holidays is not the only thing that has arrived in this update. Hidden deep within the Winterfest cabin, there's actually some unusual secrets that might be indicating what is gonna happen in this season's storyline. Some things can be explained, and other things are pretty mysterious. Guys, this is the top 5 secrets hidden away in the Winterfest lobby that I'm sure most of you have not noticed. Some of them are pretty spooky and mind-blowing, so let's just get into it. Upon entering the Winterfest Lodge and moving closer to the warm fire, we can see a handful of different objects sitting on top of the mantelpiece. Some nice pieces of art, a Durr Burger statue, and of course, a chess piece? In the center of this mantelpiece is a chess piece. Not just any old chess piece, the king. This most certainly is an unusual object to be sitting on the mantelpiece, as on the surface it doesn't really have anything to do with this winter theme. There is a connection that this could be representing Crackshot, as if he was some kind of king or something, but this is not what most people believe. This chess piece is a king, and it has arrived in the Winterfest update, where we have seen snow and ice appear in our Fortnite game. The last time we had this was back in Season 7, where we saw mass snow and ice arrive to our Fortnite game. And of course, where did this come from? The iceberg. And what was on top of the iceberg? The ice castle and the ice king. Players online are speculating that this chess piece is actually a reference to the Ice King that brought the iceberg to Fortnite. The Ice King storyline never was really wrapped up. We never knew what happened to him, where did he go, and how the story between the Ice King and the Fire King really ended. But we can see here on top of this mantelpiece a chess piece of the Ice King, and of course the flames from the fire that possibly could be the Fire King. Is this the return of the Ice King to our Fortnite game? Or is this just a pure coincidence that it has arrived at the same time as Winterfest? It's up for debate. The giant snowstorm hurricanes are still hitting our Fortnite islands, and they don't seem to be easing up. And players are starting to believe that this might be all to do with the incoming final events for Chapter 2, with the snowstorms being so disruptive to every single game, and Epic Games isn't taking them away. And with Winterfest over, the New Year's Eve event over, players are starting to wonder, what is this snowstorm for? What is it covering up? We have been talking about the incoming disaster here at Steamy Stacks. Over the last week, we have been reporting on interesting sounds coming from within the power plants, and of course the increased buildup of purple toxic fumes going on at this location. We've even looked into the hidden symbols dotted around, revealing that radiation is going to play a part in this storyline, and how much of Steamy Stacks is radiated. But over the last day or so, players online have been talking about potential leaks for Chapter 2 of Season 2's trailer, and it has everything to do with Steamy Stacks and the incoming disaster. Two images have surfaced, and they are believed to have been taken by an Epic Games employee, possibly on some kind of iPhone, and leaked out online. The first image, we can see the character Turk, who seems to be looking at something off in the distance, surrounded by a purple fumey fog. Quite a coincidence, as we've been talking about a purple fume soon to radiate across our island. The second picture shows a handful of other characters in Chapter 2 also looking in fear at something off in the distance. Guys, we're actually going to jump now into game, as there's more details that I want to go over about the entire storyline for this season. Do remember, if you want to support this channel, make sure you use the support a creator code that is on screen right now. Alright guys, let's do this. Hello, Fortnite! We love you! Hello? Hello? Okay guys, what's going on? Welcome back. This season has actually been so long. Yo, looking back through all the different events and storylines that we had this season, at least so far, it's crazy how much we've actually had. It was literally only the other day I was trash talking this season, saying that nothing has happened. But actually, quite a lot has happened. Fortnitemares, Winterfest, the Star Wars event. But to be fair, very little to do with the storyline for this season. Very, very little. Loads of fun little events, free gifts, free skins, but no story. No story whatsoever, really. Not really. Ooh, hello fella. Where did you come from? Nice to see you. I mean, most of the storyline stuff that we've seen this season hasn't really stayed around. Most of it has been entirely removed. I mean, there's nothing left of Winterfest, not really. Fort's Nightmares came and went pretty swiftly, and that giant purple island, you know, the one that I said there was no way it was just gonna disappear? You know, the purple islands that came out of nowhere with the tentacles and zombies on them? Yeah, that one? Yeah, that didn't stay either. So, yeah, yeah. But overall, this season's been pretty jam-packed with stuff. You know what is super funny, though? I was reading through some of the comments section on Reddit. Yo, what's good, homie? We had to do it to him. We had to do it to him. There's lots of talk right now about the incoming event. Some people are saying we've actually already had the event because the Star Wars event was an actual thing. Do you guys remember the Star Wars event? You might not see it on this channel very much because I couldn't get in. A bit like the last event. So fingers crossed this event, I'll actually be able to get in. Who knows? That would be really cool, Epic. That would be a nice thing to happen. But some people don't even consider that event to be a legitimate event, which is pretty fair. I don't feel like the Star Wars event that we had is going to be the final events of this season. We have still got one more big event to come, and it's gonna kickstart Chapter 2, Season 2, also Season 12. Not also Season 12. It's gonna kickstart the season, but Season 12 and Chapter 2 of Season 2 is the same. Are you kidding me? You guys see that? The boat literally must have come up behind me and taken out my ramp. Are you kidding me? Come on, boat. Whose team are you on? Hey, boys, this season has been long, drawn out, and probably should have ended by now. But upon reflection, it's clear to see we had some good times. We had some real good times. But guys, it is time to get that dub of the day. 3 cheers for this season. So far, I guess. Let's get 'em. Taking them down one by one. Ooh, homie, let's go. Stop playing. Stop playing. Get out of here. Yo, boys, that was literally a 3v1. Literally 3 guys in the same area versus me. I did my best. I really feel like I did my best right there. I killed 2 guys. That other guy is just a lucky guy. Guys, get excited for the final events this season. Get excited for next season. We're gonna cover it all on this channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll catch you all on the next one. Guys, peace.